right. Good morning. Everyone having a great time? Well, it's great to be here at Founders Peak to share my life story, inspiring entrepreneurs, and truly just living the dream. It has been an amazing journey. I get to live life on my terms. I managed to take out all the time I need for my kids. I get date nights with my wife, who's here. By 7 a.m., I've been to the gym, I've done my 30 minutes of meditation, and I'm just ready to kick ass. Every day is fired by my passion for success. I get to take holidays when I want. As Naveen mentioned, I was in Vietnam on a cruise taking a call, but it was still an amazing cruise. I was there a week before one of our most important events, which was we had a launch this week as well. But I can do it because I'm an entrepreneur. Now, wouldn't this make for a great LinkedIn post? But let's get real, and let me tell you what my life is really like. I was on holiday in Vietnam, and I was literally on calls. There was no internet. I had to request the cruise ship to give me hotspot so I could connect to the calls. I'm often sleep deprived because I wake up so early just so that some of the stuff that isn't important, like a LinkedIn post, for example, I can get that out of the way before I really start working. You see, there's this myth about entrepreneurship, that it's really cool, but it's a lot of hard yards. Mostly I don't feel cool. Sometimes I do feel lonely as well. But before I share my 8 simple rules, I want to clarify something, and I hear a lot about passion. And I agree, it's very important, but passion is a fleeting moment. It comes and it goes. Passion for an entrepreneur is a great place to start, but it has to be your purpose. Purpose is what keeps you going when the going gets tough. And with purpose, success also becomes a byproduct for an entrepreneur. When you start a new venture, you really have to know that this is something you have to do, because if you didn't do it, you know that you will regret it for the rest of your life. To me, that firms up your purpose. But even purpose is not enough, because you need the right people. You need to surround yourselves with the right people on the journey. I got really lucky because I got a co-founder, Uli, who's here, who literally became someone I could think of as my life partner at work. We're both married, my life partner at work. So you want to hire the people on the journey that you want to see on that stage. If you did go for an IPO, you want to see those people with you on that stage. Those are the people you want to take along. You want people who bring the right value system. Because if you have the value system, you build a culture of courage. It's equally important to have your cheerleaders who may not be able to join you on the pitch for the game, but you know that they're on the sidelines. You know they're watching you. They're challenging you. They're encouraging you. They're inspiring you. And you know what? When you need that cold beer on a tough day, they're with you. And some of them, I'm pleased to say, have rocked up here to be with me. So thank you. That's where the role of board members, your advisors, becomes so crucial. People you can trust. People whose inputs you actually value. But most importantly, these are people you will actually listen to. Because as an entrepreneur, you've got a lot of noise around you. You want to be able to listen to the right people. Next for me on my list of the P's is progress. When I posted on LinkedIn, believe it or not, someone who I worked with 17 years ago in New Zealand commented that even back then, my mantra to the team was don't let perfect get in the way of progress. Because what's perfect for me may not be perfect for you. We all see things very differently. And all I've learned is you've got to keep moving forward. That's more important. It's equally important to take everyone along. So for me, the idea of perfect means nothing. It's zero, zilch. It's just about moving forward. The other thing progress gives you is lots of small wins. It's those wins, and you've got to make them count, and you have to make them count for everyone with you on the journey. Up next for me is about being pragmatic. However fired up you are, I am every day. Yeah, I don't know where I get the energy. It's probably the purpose. But I have to stay pragmatic as well. You have to take the time to stop and think. I keep telling the team, don't be on the treadmill. Don't just keep getting on calls one after the other, back-to-back calls. That's the one thing I can't stand. But you've got to be pragmatic. It gives you the opportunity to make the right decisions. When I launched Ecosystem in 2018, we had raised significant capital. We launched our product, we got great market traction, and our focus at that point was growth, growth, and more growth. We were addicted to growth. We started to build another new platform that was going to go up. We were going to go live with it in Singapore, Australia, and India in March 2020. You can see where I'm going with this. COVID hit, Singapore shut down, Australia shut down, and India shut down. Our platform was ready. We had onboarded enterprises and users, but we were burning through cash and probably had 6 to 9 months runway at that point. We had to make a very pragmatic decision. Were we going to be focused on being an investment-led growth business, or were we going to double down and get to this path of profitability? We decided that we would take the latter option. My co-founder was stranded in Australia. I was in Singapore. Our team was in different places. We had to double down. Uli and I had some honest and very hard conversations with the team. I said there are 2 options. In reality, actually, I knew there were 3 options. The third was to shut down the business, but that option wasn't really on my mind. So the first option was we suck it up, we all take the pain together, leave no one behind. It meant that everyone takes a pay cut. We just focus on being profitable. Option 2 was to let some people go. I mean, I looked around, who hadn't wished me on my birthday, all those things. The reality was no one wanted that option. And we went with option 1. We stayed transparent. Every quarter, we would review and revise pay cuts and adjustments. Every quarter. The only cost I wanted to bear was the cost of my people. Everything else had to be cut down to the bone. And I'm proud to say that every member of that team from March 2020, every one of them is on the journey together today. And some of them are in this room, and I'm very, very grateful to them. And within 12 months of that decision, we became profitable. The growth wasn't shabby either. It's actually quite all right if you get the business basics right. You start growing your business, you start making money. Trust me, when you're profitable, it just fuels your growth. We've actually grown 80x in the last 3 years. Ironically, we had capital before that. When we took this decision, we haven't raised any more capital, and we've grown 80x in that period. Uli and I also knew that there was always going to be a right time to pick up the larger ambition. We had put it on the back burner, but the flame was still very much alive. We carved out a spin-off in 2021 as a separate venture that was entirely funded by Ecosystem. And I'm proud to say that after 18 months, we officially launched that platform, Kampd, here at SFF day before yesterday. And now in this new spin-off, Kampd, we have raised additional external capital. In fact, some of my most vested cheerleaders are backing us again on this journey. It has been a tough ride. I have to admit that. There are days I think about, why am I doing this? If it wasn't enough to do one, I've got 2 concurrent ventures running. But that's only possible because of all the people around me who are staying focused and keeping me focused, not just staying focused themselves, they keep me focused on the purpose. And it's about staying pragmatic, collectively. And the next 3 Ps are the ones that have kept me grounded. Pride. You really have to suck it up. The reality is, when you've been a corporate leader and you become an entrepreneur, as a number of you would have experienced, you realize very quickly that your network is more about where you work. It's not about who you are as much. But there are still people who value you, and they're your true friends. They will be around you. So when you ask them for help, and trust me, you will need their help, don't posture. Just be upfront, be yourself, suck up your pride, and ask for help. That's what I do. There is nothing wrong with being vulnerable. It is, to me, the most human quality that you can have. And next up for me is no pain, no gain is actually a reality. We do put ourselves through a lot of pain, and there are ways to deal with it. You can only suppress it as much, but it's important to share that pain when you need to. Share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues. It makes it a lot easier. One of my other mantras, I have a few, it's been, and Naveen, you know this, similar to your Maserati and MRT. While I can eat ramen, I don't want to take the sushi off the table for my family. You can't deprive them. For your passion, for your purpose, don't deprive people around you. You've got to make sure that they're comfortable. So as far as possible, I've tried to ensure that everyone around me, my family, my team, have had minimal impact on their everyday quality of life. Being a startup doesn't give you the right to deprive people of that. You have to take on that responsibility. It's no different for a person who rocks up at work, whether they work for a large MNC or a startup, you've got to give them a great experience. And lastly, prayer. You can't do any of this without living on a prayer. To me, prayer is not about religion. I've been praying since I was 10, and it's a conversation I have with myself. Your prayer is your belief system. It's what makes you committed to what you're doing. That prayer links it back to everything, your purpose. Because you're focused on that purpose, you pray towards that purpose. And to me, that's been my prayer. I don't go a day without my prayer. So, to sum it all, here it goes. My purpose drives it all for me. The people around me are my tribe. They keep me moving. For me, it's about progress, not perfect. And you've got to be pragmatic. It'll come with some pain. If you have the right people with you, you'll deal with it. And suck up your pride and ask for help when you need it from the people that matter. And you certainly cannot do any of this without living on a prayer. So with that, thank you all. And I love listening to all the journeys today. Thank you.